Have you ever wondered what personal development means and why it's important? Then you'll definitely be enjoying this next chat with Simone Naidu, who is a holistic personal development coach, because she is here to tell us all about it. Welcome, Simone. Good to have you here.
Thank you, Michael. Lovely to be here.
Let's unpack briefly the idea of personal development as a concept. What is it in your view?
So personal development, firstly, I view it as holistic.
Okay.
It's the holistic inner work on yourself. Right? And so I kind of break it down into three broad categories of mind, body, spirit. Some people say mind, body, soul, but it's this understanding that you're not just one being. You have different fundamental and important aspects of yourself, and they all require work.
Okay. So why is it that that work is so important? Because I think a lot of people feel, this is who I am, this is where I am, this is where I'm going, it's all good. I don't need to do anything. Why is that personal work so necessary?
Well, I like Jim Rohn's concept of how he describes nature. He says, whatever's not growing is dying.
Right.
And you are an extension of nature. You're a living being. Every cell is being born and dying. You're aging. You were once a baby. You're now in an adult body. So clearly, growth is an essential function of life. What we do is we tend to, based on what other people have told us, use probably the first 18 years as like the most amount of growth.
Yes.
Because it's very physical, physiological, very intellectual.
It's very formal,
Exactly.
You're forced to learn.
It's structured.
Yes.
And then we go to university, we get a degree, and then once we start ticking boxes of structure, like I've got my job, maybe I'm married, this is where I live, we put down roots, we tend to start making ourselves these very static beings, almost like this piece of furniture.
Yes.
It's like, well, this is just the way I am now, I've been cut this way, it's done. But that's actually not true. Because, for example, neuroscience tells us that the brain can constantly learn new things, grow and develop. Whatever we don't use will die. We atrophy certain parts of ourselves. And people who are in sports, for example, will often know this. Maybe in your youth you were an avid tennis player. Then the minute you stop doing it, you kind of lose the skill. But there is a muscle memory. So when you pick up the racket again, it comes back.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's this concept of understanding that in order to remain at your best, to achieve goals, to constantly be evolving, growing, and reaching new levels of your own success, you've got to constantly be working on yourself, because this being is alive, right? So the reason why you don't eat one meal and never again is because your system constantly needs the fuel from food to work.
Right.
But your mind needs the same thing, your emotional state, your spiritual state, your physical state. So that's the understanding of work.
So let's sort of highlight the individual parts there. So you mentioned body, mind, and soul or spirit. What is the kind of work that we should be doing in these three different areas to advance, if I can maybe use that word?
So firstly, I don't think it's prescriptive, and I would never do that. I don't do it with my clients, and I wouldn't advise anyone now to do it, right? It's not like formal education where it's like, okay, nursery school 2 years, then matric this amount of years. It's this concept of understanding who you are and how you need to grow. So if we take our mental capacity, our psychology, everyone's psychology is different. The reason it's different is because we were all raised by different parents, in different homes with different belief systems and different structures. So for example, you might be very strong in your confidence in yourself, in your self-esteem, you feel safe to express yourself, and that's maybe because of the way your psychology was wired and conditioned in your childhood. So because each of us has a different upbringing, a different background and a different past, and also different inherent skills, gifts. Some people are really good at communicating verbally. Others are fantastic at doing it through art. We have got this, we're unique individuals. So I would say those broad categories help someone with a starting point.
Okay.
That's basically what I'm saying. And then obviously you need to sit with a professional, sit with yourself first and say, what do I need to do for my mind? Maybe you're a person who thinks incredibly negatively. You're always complaining. You're always waiting for the next bad thing to happen. You've got some mental health problems. Now, that's not to the realm of depression, anxiety, that kind of thing, but clearly your mental space is not healthy, right? So you've got some cleaning up to do.
Okay.
Right? Like some spring cleaning to do.
So it's about getting a level of self-awareness that you can identify in yourself, right? I need to be focusing on these areas, let's work in that direction.
Yeah.
Do you think that people put too much pressure on themselves sometimes in terms of self-development? So you've obviously got the extremes, those who want to be the table on the floor and never move, and those who are always on the hunt. They buy all the books, they buy into all the programs, they are constantly in this learning sort of phase. But are people in that space really getting as much out of it as they could be if they were maybe doing a little bit less but going deeper?
Right. So that depth, that's a good point that you're bringing up, because personal development to me, as much as it has 3 facets, has 2 very important directions. And I'll just say past, present, and the future, right? Present and future together in the past. It's a component of healing. So there's a healing component in personal development and a growth component in personal development. So the growth component is all goal orientated, right? Where are you now? Where do you want to be? Very logical, very simple, and you can do this for any area of your life. But for example, when we have this constant thirst, almost like we're never satiated, it's never enough. What's the next thing? You achieve great things. You went from a master's to a PhD, right? You went from working for someone else to being a business owner, but somehow you're still craving more and more. Now I know there's some healing work that needs to be done. And that's what we call woundings. In extreme cases, we call it trauma, where there's actually a part of your psychology and your emotional health, your emotional body, that is actually almost trapped in a past self. So it could be something from childhood, from your early years that you experienced, that is actually driving you to say, this is not enough, you're not enough, you'll never be enough, you're not worthy. And that's almost something you feel from an energetic perspective with someone. They're never ever satisfied with who they are. They're always trying to prove something. And that's a lot subtler.
Yes, I can imagine. Would you suggest that somebody at some point almost creates a bit of a self-development plan?
Again, this is what the benefit of working with a professional, because you can't see your own blind spots, right? Luckily, we've got resources, so Google's your best friend. So if money is an issue, I recommend literally go into Google. Start with it yourself, but really listen to your inner voice, because you know where you need to grow. And most of the time, people start with pain points. They start with the what's not working right now. So it could be your health is in a mess, finances, interpersonal relationships, you're terribly unhappy and unfulfilled at work. So those become starting points, because human beings know exactly what they don't like. That's a very obvious one. But when you start to then dig deep and say, but hold on, what's the dream and the vision for your life? Then all of a sudden someone doesn't like, hold on, when did I last ask that question? When you ask the question, well, who are you? What is your purpose for being here? Why do you think you were born into this life? All of a sudden it starts to become deeper, and now we start to expand. There is a beautiful place that every human being starts with, and I think that's why I got involved in this work, is because I realized as a human being, there were so many basic skills I didn't have. Basic skills, like no one taught me how to make my mind healthy. No one taught me how do I make interpersonal relationships work, whether it's romantic or friendship. How do I deal with my anger? How do I forgive? How do I make sure that money works for me and it's not just, oh, I earn a lot, but I feel good about the money I have? So there were all these components, and I'm like, but nobody taught me this.
No lesson around that's formalized in your first 18 years of education.
It's not. It's not. And that's what made me, through that need of being like, oh my gosh, there's so much missing in self-education. Right? That's why personal development can often be linked to, there's a self-education part. And you mentioned awareness. You have to teach yourself some basic skills, and that's why we walk around saying, oh my gosh, this should be common sense. Well, why is it not? Because we're all taught different things, and then we grow up with certain belief systems around that.
How do you implement a little bit of discipline to actually take action to do this personal development? Because there's always something that you can distract yourself with. So where do you root yourself to say, right, this is where I'm going to go. I've got to start this. I've got to do this.
I tell people to follow what they love and start one daily practice. So for some people, it's physical movement, conscious movement of their body, whether that's yoga, running, swimming, dancing, it doesn't matter. Because when you start to anchor that habit and you become very conscious in it, stuff starts to reveal itself. I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, but you start to become aware, like while you're swimming, you start to become aware, like, why am I only thinking about stressful thoughts right now? Or why do I keep repeating the scenario that happened 10 years ago, like a movie over and over? And from that awareness, you then trust that awareness and your instinct and you follow it, and that opens another door.
Okay.
That maybe there's some emotional healing or some healing with your family that needs to be done. If you do have a calling, which is kind of like for someone who's probably quite sensitive emotionally, right? So maybe you're not as intellectually strong, but emotionally and spiritually you kind of feel this instinct. Then I tell people, well, jump into it.
Okay.
Jump into it head on and start following some teachers. You know, for me it was Louise Hay, because she was speaking about self-love. And I realized this belief system that I had, which is I'm not good enough, that perpetuated while I worked in corporate. It was what was pushing me and stressing me, and I need to achieve, and you know, before I'm 30 and all of that stuff that people can resonate with, was actually coming from a belief system that I'm not good enough. And so when I heard her say the bottom line for everyone is I'm not good enough and self-love is the answer, I'm like, this is the battle I've been secretly facing, and she's articulating it.
Yeah.
And so you follow one teacher and all of a sudden these doors start to open. Life starts to respond to you because now you're participating in it. You're no longer this kind of backseat driver saying, oh, I suppose I'll just react to whatever shows up
just
today.
go with the flow. And then
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Simone, I think it's been a wonderful discussion because you really have given some good anchor points to start with, and the idea that it's a journey and you don't have to follow a particular track, but you can experience this process is wonderful in terms of self-development. So thank you for sharing your thoughts.